Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
I tweeted this out yesterday during the game. Bo Nix is just a rookie. Bo Nix is just a rookie. Bo Nix is just a rookie. I talked about it on Thursday on Coffee Break. I did a solo session of the people around Bo Nix have to step up. And unfortunately, it feels like we didn't see that. It feels like Sean Payton didn't call a great game for Bo Nix. And yes, we are going to see the rookie struggle, but the Broncos lose to the Seattle Seahawks in week 1, 26-20. And the struggles began nice and early. It is a Merilatt Monday. We got him in the building. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I'm a little nervous to hear what you have to say.
Okay. All right.
I want to I don't want to get you in the doghouse.
It sounded like you were laying out a lot of excuses right there in your intro.
Really?
For
I
Bo
just
Nix.
feel like Bo Nix is getting all the hate when I think it's a lot of other people that.
I'm with you. Although I don't think he's getting that much hate.
Oh.
And maybe I'm just,
I was going to say
too
Twitter
busy
was
trying
ugly.
to filter through the hate that comes my way on a Monday morning. Look, I don't blame Bo Nix for the way he played. But here was the point I made in my column today at denversports.com that I made when I was on with Schlereth and Evans this morning. It's the same offense with Russell Wilson, with Jarrett Stidham, and with Bo Nix. We see the same thing. So it's because the problems are still there. They have mediocre wide receivers. They have mediocre tight ends. They can't run the football. And Sean Payton, his offense is archaic and worked 15 years ago. So that's not Bo Nix's fault.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't Russell Wilson's fault. And nobody wanted to hear it when I've said it so many times, I'm sick of hearing it, but it's hard to soar like an eagle when you're flying with turkeys. How many times did I say that with Russell Wilson? And everybody's just like, you're rusty and you're an apologist for him. And he should lift all boats. It's like, what is he supposed to do when Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton are running into each other in the middle of the field?
You're not wrong.
Right? So now when those same things are true and Bo Nix is struggling, it's like, well, what's he supposed to do with this running game? I'm like, exactly. So it's not a Bo Nix problem. It's everything that's around Bo Nix, and it starts at the top with Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. Sean Payton at this point through 18 games has not proven that he knows what he's doing. And one game into Vic Fangio's second year, I said Vic Fangio should be fired. Okay. And people, how can you say that after one game? I'm like, it's not after one game. It's after a season and one game. I'm not saying Sean Payton should be fired. But Sean Payton does not look like he knows what he's doing anymore. And how can you say that after one game? It's 18 games. Yeah. It was 17 games of this mess last year. It's another game this year with his hand-picked quarterback at the helm. He blamed it all on Russ. It was going to be better now. It was worse. Now, the reasons it was worse, they had 9 3-and-outs. They were awful.
But how many sacks did we have?
Well, that's one metric that wasn't as bad.
How many sacks did Bo Nix get?
They threw 2 passes over 10 yards.
I know.
2.
I'm laughing because it really was bad. It was hard to watch.
I literally had to drink a Red Bull at halftime because I was falling asleep. Quite literally. It's like, this is a Sunday afternoon nap waiting to happen. It was worse. I think the fact that it was worse was probably based on, hey, Bo Nix is a rookie. It's going to take a little while. Mm-hmm. It's the first time he's seen a defense that was actually starters. That was actually had a game plan, right? Like all the things that those of us who tried to pump the brakes on the preseason were called haters for. Yep. Wet
Myself
blankets.
Included. Okay.
It's like, come on. It's, going 8 of 9 against the Cardinals third stringers. Who cares? It wasn't the Cardinals, but you know what I'm saying. Yep. There were some struggles with that. But listen, this is all on Sean Payton. He's the guy that tells you he's the smartest guy in the room. The next time I only win 6 games will be the first time. We're glad everybody else is bad at picking quarterbacks. I know what I'm doing. And then you go out and lay that egg? Come on, man. That's on you. And he comes out in CYA time, halftime with CBS, post-game. It's, we got to catch the football. I thought our protection wasn't very good. Like, did you ever say that when you struggled with Russ, that other people needed to step up, or did you just yell at him on the sideline on national TV? Like, I'm just sick of this guy's act. Have a good product, and then tell us how good you are.
James is just like fuming right now.
Just do that. Sean Payton's offense. You were right. You told me on this show, Sean Payton's offense is going to be boring. You did not lie.
No, it was going to be a lot of screen passes. We were going to see 3 to 5 yards, and like that was going to be it, moving the ball. Now, unfortunately, you were
So
hoping
bad.
the run game was going to look a little bit better.
But hope.
Yeah.
I tried to tell everybody that when I wrote about it a month ago. It's like it's the same running backs and the same offensive line, save for probably a downgrade from Lloyd Cushenberry to Luke Wattenberg. But it's the center. Do we really know? Like, fine.
Yeah.
It's the same. Why was it magically going to be different?
I mean, they could have honestly probably have scored if Javonte Williams hasn't slipped. So, like, let's give him a little bit of credit there. Like, that was unfortunate. And they said they got a new turf and it was really slippery, which not making excuses for him. But, like, there would have been one touchdown at least by a running back, which I really would have appreciated if he would have ran it in. But, like, yeah, it definitely sucked. But there also was moments where I see what your point is on Sean Payton. But there was moments where if they would have caught the ball, this offense would have looked great. So, like, how much
great? It would have looked putrid instead of
it would have looked acceptable.
Anemic.
It would have looked acceptable for having a rookie quarterback be out there. You got to admit that. Granted, I also don't think that Sean Payton set Bo Nix up for success. It felt like there was a bunch of talk about, oh, Russell Wilson always went off script and we're frustrated that he went off script.
Right.
During the preseason, it felt like Bo scanned and was like trying to figure out different options. Yesterday, he was locked in on, I mean, you knew exactly where he was going every time. And I was like, were you scared? Was there a conversation that was had? What was the difference between preseason and the first game of the season?
Well, that's a good point. And I think it was Adam Archuleta on the broadcast said that, they're trying to roll him out, cut the field in half. And I'm like, I thought the number one thing about Bo Nix was he's a processor. And he said 61 career starts and he's smart and he can see the whole field. Like, why are you having to do that? That's what you have to do with a quarterback who can't run your system.
Yep.
If Bo Nix isn't able to do that yet, then he shouldn't be starting.
Yeah, agreed.
But he was set up for failure.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't sabotage is when you do it intentionally. Set up for failure is when you do it unintentionally, just out of incompetence or, a mistake
unfortunate
or whatever.
Circumstances. Yeah.
He set him up for failure. And go look at the overhead view. CBS showed it when they showed the replay of the second interception.
Mm-hmm.
The one where he's kind of rolling to his right and Adam Archuleta says, oh no, while the ball's in the air.
Yeah.
They've got the deep cross is where he was trying to throw it.
Yep.
They've got a guy running a post away from Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a guy in the left flat away from Bo Nix.
Yep.
There's one guy and there's 3 defenders. Like his only other option would have been to throw the football away.
And that was my thing where I was
what
like,
he should have done.
Clearly we're not going off script. Like we are very much no quarterback in their right mind is looking at that play thinking, let's do this.
No.
And Cortland Sutton's not Tyreek Hill or, any of those guys where it's like, okay, they can make an unbelievable catch.
It's a terribly designed play. It's why I just call balderdash on all the people who said there were all these open plays last year and Russ missed them. I'm like, what game were you watching? Because I don't see them, but I watch other NFL games.
Yep.
And look, Tua and Tyreek are quite that combination is amazing. Mm-hmm. But that guy's running all by himself.
Yep.
And part of it's play design, and part of it's they got a bunch of guys that really aren't particularly fast. They don't have a Tyreek Hill, but who does?
Yeah.
But it's like we saw it last year in the Detroit game. Detroit looked like they were playing at one speed, and the Broncos were playing at another speed. They didn't address that at all during the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one guy that supposedly has a lot of speed is Marvin Mims. Sean Payton says, that's on us for not getting him involved. He played 12 plays.
Can we talk about that?
He had one target.
Is he no longer a wide receiver? Like, is he not a part of this?
So you blamed yourself for not getting him involved last year. You have all offseason to figure out how to get the speed guy involved.
I haven't seen
anything.
And
he's involved less yesterday than he was in almost every game last year. It's such a poor coaching job. It really is. And I don't know why people are afraid to call it out.
No.
If Vic Fangio had that kind of a game, if Nathaniel Hackett had that kind of a game, right? Like when they went up there and lost with Russ in his first game as a Bronco, they scored 16 points, but they fumbled twice at the goal line.
Yep.
Russ threw for 340 yards. They had 100+ yards rushing. Like the offense was actually really good that day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you lose, you lose. But like
miss the field goal.
There was encouraging things in that game, and he still got killed for it. Well, the 64-yard field goal, 46-yard line left hash, like all the things that became punchlines. Why is none of Sean Payton's blunders punchlines? I mean, he just stands over there in his $300 glasses reading his Red Robin menu and calling that garbage.
Why are you throwing Red Robin under the bus?
I love Red Robin.
I love Red Robin.
Give me a bonsai burger and some steak fries.
Their strawberry lemonade is to die for. Oh, we should have our meeting at Red Robin today. That sounds delicious.
Red Robin is good.
I know.
But it just looks like the menu. It is all color-coded and stuff. Like, that's what it looks like.
The fact that we just got off on a Red Robin tangent.
I swear if he flipped that thing over, he could order a shake.
Okay, I want to go into my keys to the game from last week that I did, all right?
Okay.
First, run the dang ball. They couldn't do that.
3.2 yards per carry by everybody other than Bo Nix.
Brutal, right?
I mean, Javonte Williams and Jaleel both average under 3.
Was Javonte in the doghouse?
No, I just think they don't know what they're doing. This is what happens when you don't have a guy.
How many times did we see him in the second half? Like twice.
I know. We were texting in our group text of like, is he hurt? It's just like, no, they just have this weird rotation.
Yes.
I mean, Audric Estime had a nice run.
He did. And
fumbled.
Honestly, but I don't think that fumble was on him. The defense had a nice play on them.
Yeah, sure. But he fumbled. And then so he came out the field. So, but the two main guys averaged less than 3 yards a carry.
Isn't that disgusting?
It's ridiculous.
That's
So your keys to the game.
Yeah, run the dang ball. Couldn't do that. Win the DK Metcalf battle.
It was okay.
I'm like 50-50, right? But
he
I'm like,
didn't dominate the game.
No.
I would say they won that battle.
Okay.
He didn't. He's going to get some catches.
The Pat Surtain PI was unfortunate.
He's going to get a penalty here and there. Like,
yeah,
he's a great player.
Yep.
Even if you're the best cornerback in the league, which PS2 probably is, or he's in that conversation, certainly paid like it. You're not going to completely shut someone down.
Yep.
But DK Metcalf didn't win that game for him, so I'd say they won that.
Totally agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like Lockett unfortunately won that game for them.
Yeah.
Which Riley Moss didn't have a bad game.
They go at Riley Moss a lot.
Yeah, they did.
We saw 21
I feel like
a lot.
He was able to kind of bounce back, right? Bad play, he'd have a great play. You were like, okay, we're feeling it out.
I would say he was fine.
I'd give him a C+.
He was fine.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
C+.
So far your two keys, one big no and one probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I thought they were going to test Surtain. I'm like, okay, he just got this big contract, right? You're like, let's see, can you actually be worth the money? Feel like PS2 stepped up to it.
Yeah,
so I thought they were going to test him.
He played well.
Don't make Bo do too much. And unfortunately, it felt like everyone around him, it made him do too much. Their offensive line stunk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us would have gone into it saying, hey, throwing 42 times is going to be the best scenario.
Yep.
And how
many of those did he run?
Yeah, and he had 5 carries, so it's 47 plays that were Bo Nix. Did he get sacked in the game?
No.
Okay, so 47 total plays that were on him.
Speedy quick.
Well, it's also hard to get sacked when you're throwing the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, Jaleel McLaughlin averaged less than a yard per reception.
It was terrible.
They had multiple receptions for negative yards.
Okay, my question to you though, is it
Gosh.
Is it that Seattle just came out and changed the game in the second half? Or is it the fact that the Broncos did this to themselves?
I think the Seahawks made great adjustments.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos made no adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sean Payton got outcoached by a first-time head coach and a first-time offensive coordinator. Tell me how I'm wrong.
You're not. It's just really
the Sean Payton halftime adjustments are non-existent.
Was there any?
No.
I don't know if there were any adjustments. Seattle upped their tempo, clearly.
There certainly didn't seem to be any adjustments.
No. And they got lucky. Like, let's be real. Well, first of all, they didn't capitalize on all their turnovers.
No, that game should have been 17-0.
Totally agree with you. So that was mistake number 1, obviously. 2, you can't expect your defense to just continue on. I mean, it was the first time there was 2 safeties in how many years was it?
Yeah, they had a chance of tying the NFL record for most safeties in game, which is 3, which has happened 1 time.
Like insane.
But like the defense played fine.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. Like, you get a guy in here that's a proven coach. You're going to reduce the mental mistakes. It's 3rd and 11. If you get the Seahawks off the field, I'm not saying you win the game, but miraculously, as bad as you were offensively, you were down 6 points. You're 1 good drive away from stealing a victory.
And we're finally seeing a little bit of movement with the offense.
Yeah, and like we all would have liked to see what can Bo Nix do in this situation.
Yep.
Even if he fails, it's a great experience. It's a great test. It's like, okay, you're gonna be better next time it comes around. The Baron Browning offsides.
Oh my gosh.
The mark of an undisciplined, poorly coached football team.
I can't imagine his team meeting.
It's 3rd and 11.
Everyone has to be like, bro, what the heck?
I couldn't believe the Seahawks threw the ball because on 3rd and 11, your chances of converting are pretty slim.
Yep.
Run the ball, make the Broncos use their timeout and punt.
100%.
They threw it. They wound up short, Browning's offsides. Now it's 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6, you're going to try and get it because the game's over.
Yep.
That's where they hit Lockett. Like, that play was such an unbelievable blunder.
Yeah.
It didn't cost them the game, but it cost them the chance to win the game.
Yes.
And
it cost them the opportunity.
I just don't know how you have that happen. It's unbelievable to me.
But what can Sean Payton do in that position? Like, that's the thing, right? Is like players make plays. Well, yeah, he made it. He jumped offside. It's not like Sean Payton can go out there and be like, all right, we're going to stand here for an entire practice and make sure we don't jump.
He likes to tell Diana Rossini how he's Bill Parcells 2.0. Bill Parcells teams don't do that.
Not once.
Off the top of my head, do I remember all 200 of Bill Parcells' games, however many he coached?
But I'm just saying, you're making a bold statement there.
That was not a hallmark of Bill Parcells' teams. No. Was mental mistakes and shooting yourself in the foot.
But is that on Sean or is that on VJ?
Well, I mean, ultimately, you're the boss. It's
but let's be real. He's on the freaking offensive side of things.
Well, okay, then it's on VJ. Who hired VJ?
Fair.
All of it is just, it's just the operation was supposed to be so much better. And like, it just looked like the same mess it's been for years.
They might go 0-4.
Well, they're going to play a great defense this week.
Can you believe? Okay, first of all, real quick, we're going to switch it. Pittsburgh's defense, TJ Watt. I was like, this is unreal.
Yeah. If Russ plays, that's going to be a boat race.
He's not. No, I think that they're running with Justin Fields from here on out.
Justin Field goals?
Huh? Yeah, I think they're going to. You have to admit, he looked pretty good.
He did. He
did not look bad.
He was not
good
at all.
Let me pull up his stats. Let me pull up his stats.
They had 6 field goals.
So, still won the game.
Well, not because of him.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, read me off his glossy numbers.
Hold on. I'm not going to lie. He had a rating of 91.9.
Okay.
73% completion.
Okay.
156 yards.
Wow.
Thrilling stuff right there. 0 interceptions.
Okay.
And then the one that you want me to say is 0 touchdowns. But
very, very, very mediocre. They couldn't get in the end zone.
Like 7 for 23. Or 17 versus 23, excuse me. 7 for 23 would have been bad.
It was very mediocre. It was extremely mediocre. So I don't know that he certainly didn't go out and do anything to win the job. They won the game, but why did they win the game?
Defense.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked bad.
He wasn't bad. He did exactly what you want your backup quarterback to do in that situation.
Yeah.
Don't get yourself beat.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
But Russ isn't going to play on Sunday.
Oh, yes, he is.
No, he's not.
If he doesn't start.
Also, you still owe me a coffee, so we can make another coffee bet. But
for what?
We made a bet in here. Oh, if it was going to rain. There was going to be a rain delay.
I do owe you that.
Yeah. He ignored my tweet that I tweeted at him when I told him he owed me a coffee.
Next week,
sure.
I'll bring that in.
Do we make another one that Russell Wilson plays this week?
If he doesn't start, he's going to come in while they're trailing and save the day.
No,
and
he is
win
not.
it for the Steelers.
You watch.
He's
dealing with an injury. He is not going to.
They just didn't want to tweak it on that turf because he wanted to be ready for this week.
Oh, for sure.
I had to be ready for this week.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to make a bet on this
all the people making fun of him for being in his uniform.
I was one.
Do not understand the way it works.
I know. He's the emergency quarterback.
Right.
We need the eye or the
if
black
the other two guys get hurt, what's he supposed to do? Go run in and put on his uni?
Aren't you the starting quarterback? Like, let's get out there then, buddy.
I mean, come on.
We have our eye black and everything.
That just shows you he could have played if he had to.
So why didn't he?
Because he didn't want to tweak the calf on that turf and be out for a lengthy period of time. Russ is going to be back in the starting lineup on Sunday against the Broncos. You watch. All right, double or nothing.
Double or nothing. All right, we will see. First of all, we got to talk, though, before the show ends about one other fun team to watch this weekend.
Yeah.
Your Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Coach Prime and how he's been, let's be real, Coach Prime has talked a lot of smack. A lot. You got to be able to back up your smack, at least in my personal opinion. Just your thoughts on everything that happened on Saturday.
I'm over it. I'm over.
Me too.
I'm over the talk. I don't like trash talk anyway. I don't.
Yep.
But if you're going to do it.
Whoa.
I don't.
You don't like trash talk?
No. I'm a scoreboard guy. Like when I coach teams, when I play sports, we are not trash talkers. We're not pregame hype ourselves up team. It's like, just go out and do what you're supposed to do. And final score is your trash talk. Final score is the trash talk.
Okay.
Your
kids don't trash talk at all?
No.
At all?
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Well, not that I'm aware of.
I'm like, I feel like their dad's a bit of a trash talker, but it's fine.
So, no, I go scoreboard. Sean Payton, scoreboard. That's what I do.
I can't.
Anyhow, if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And this
100%.
team does not walk the walk.
No.
They went in there, and that was a pathetic performance in the first half. The defense was better as the game went on, but it's also, if you're Nebraska and you're up 28-0, you're doing vanilla stuff. That You're like, don't make a mistake and get them back in the game.
Yep.
But, the way they came out, they had a chance after the kick return to make it 7-3, tied up 7-7.
Oh.
The 4th and 1 called. First time you've ran the ball all game. Get stuff.
Well, you have to make sure they look good, James.
Yeah. The throwing
He's going to be the number 1 overall pick next year.
Throwing the ball from the 2-yard line, I got no problem with,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm thinking of Steven Montez a few years ago when the Buffs beat him up in Boulder and he threw like a 98-yard flea flicker touchdown.
Yep.
Something like that is fine, because if it gets picked off, it's like a punt.
Yep.
The most dangerous throw you can have there is the out. If he catches it, it's 4 yards.
Yep.
Or it goes the other way. Now it's 14-0. Just an unbelievably bad play call. They had multiple times in that game to get back in it. They were terrible in the red zone. They were terrible on 4th down. They couldn't run the ball. But the most embarrassing part of the entire thing was Shedeur Sanders walking off the field with 2 minutes left.
Thank you.
If you're going to talk
Thank you.
and you're going to put it in people's faces when you win at Arizona State with your
Rolex,
then you know what? When you're
it.
getting your butt kicked,
Yeah.
you stand there and take it until the bitter end.
Thank you.
That was pathetic and embarrassing and just should not be allowed. And the fact that Coach Prime allows it, here's the thing, and people think I'm crazy. At least when Carl Durrell was the coach, I was done being embarrassed by 2 p.m. and I could go enjoy my Saturday night.
Amen.
Now with Coach Prime, all that's changed is now I get embarrassed in prime time. The whole nation gets to see it.
Yep.
I get to ruin my Saturday nights. That's the only thing that's changed.
Are you going to ruin your Saturday night this upcoming Saturday night?
Maybe. Wouldn't shock me at all.
No, it wouldn't.
Wouldn't shock me at all. And if they lose to CSU, the Coach Prime era should be over. Over.
Done.
What's the point?
Dunzo.
What's the point? It has been they got some attention.
Did they just get lucky last year?
What's that?
Did they just get lucky?
Early in the year they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious if it was like actual like
they're a poorly coached football team.
Oh.
Look, Matt Rule, does Nebraska have more talent than the Buffs? It's probably close.
Yeah. But you also got a lot of guys this offseason.
But Matt Rule knows how to coach.
Yeah. That was the difference.
Coach Prime is a great recruiter. He's a great salesman. He's not a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he has not surrounded himself with people who make up for his deficiencies in those areas.
Pat Shurmur.
Who in those areas? Who could have imagined Pat Shurmur would be a bad hire? Everyone in Denver?
Wow. Crazy thought.
I was so embarrassed, so upset, so disappointed, but I wasn't shocked.
No.
And that's what I think was kind of revealing for me of like, deep down, I'm like, yeah, I kind of expected this. I expected him to go out there and talk the talk and not walk the walk. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
The biggest thing for me, especially too, as a CSU grad, is everyone's like, oh, little brother. And I'm like, okay, first of all, let me roll my eyes. Yeah, you won last year. Congratulations. But they've also
won like 79% of the times they played, but it's okay.
Okay, well, we'll see. At least CSU's not getting embarrassed. I'm not ruining my Saturday nights. Okay?
No, see, you guys play at noon on no network. That's ideal.
Great. I love it. Don't hate on my Rams. How rude of you. But one way or another is everyone pulls the like little brother thing. And it's like, no, there's not good football actually being played on the field. There's showcasing of 2 guys, Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, but we're haters when we come out and say that. And I'm like, that's not fair. There's no good football being played on the actual field.
There's not. There isn't.
Thank you.
And
that is what I needed on this Monday.
I think the prime example of it is if you're trying to win football games and not showcase your passing game, it's almost impossible to blow a 29-0 halftime lead to a mediocre Stanford team.
Yep.
The only way you can do that is you continue to throw the football, you make mistakes,
skyrocket those numbers.
You don't burn the clock. Right? Like, because every time Stanford scored, you got the ball back.
Yep.
And if you run the football, play conservative, just burn some clock, like you're going to walk out of there with a 29-20 win.
Yep.
Shedeur throws for 245 and nobody's talking about him, but you got a W.
Yep.
That's, I think, the issue of a lot of what's going on up there. But they're an undisciplined football team. I like the way they fly around on defense, actually. Like, targeting is such a bogus call. It's so hard. Like, it's a rule designed by a bunch of 60-year-old guys who've never played the game and don't realize like how hard that is to change your trajectory when you're in the middle of a play going that fast.
Totally with you.
So that, they had a couple of them. One of them, I think, got taken away. One did get a penalty. I like a defense that flies around and is aggressive. At some point, you're going to cross the line and you don't know how close you are to it.
Totally with you.
So I like that, but it's also, and nobody wants to talk about this, but like, oh, you don't have a great culture. You don't have great character. Well, when you surround your program with guys like Warren Sapp and Terrell Owens, what are you expecting?
Thank you. This is what I've wanted to hear. This is what I've been waiting for.
And look, what he did in terms of getting attention for the program and bringing in talent was great. But at some point, you have to have some substance. And it's not that they lost. I would have been upset if they lost.
Yeah.
If they'd have lost 28-24 on a last-minute drive and Raiola had a, heroic drive to win the game, I'd be like, that stinks. But the way they just came out and got punched in the mouth.
I know.
It was, that was bad. It was embarrassing.
Well,
it was embarrassing.
To you. Some more bad Saturday news for you.
Uh-oh.
Baylor on Fox at 6 p.m. That's going to be your game in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yep,
another
Big
embarrassment.
12 opener.
Well, all these networks are like, let's get CU early in the season while they're still relevant, because at that point they're going to.
But how long? If they lose to CSU, which truthfully I think touching. I mean, if it would have been in CSU last year, I think CSU would have won. Right? Like there is a little bit of environmental play that comes into it for sure. What do you think? What are you going to say?
If they lose to CSU, Coach Prime should be done.
Fired.
I just think it doesn't necessarily have to fire him now, but like it should be the end of the era. Because the other thing we're going to see the other thing we're going to see with this team, you watch, if they're 2-5, you think Shedeur Sanders is still playing in games?
No,
when he's looking at his brother over there in a sling with the broken arm, or is he going to be like, I got money to be made in the NFL? And I'm not actually being critical of that, but then all of a sudden this team just falls completely apart.
But also, if you're an NFL scout right now, do you really look at Shedeur and be like, first round pick material?
No, he's a first round pick. Do I look at him as highly as I did before that game?
I should have said number 1 overall pick.
His lack of mobility and escapability, especially early, was surprising to me. Because it's not like they were blitzing 6 or 7 guys and he had no hope.
Nope.
He just couldn't step out of the rush and move and make a play.
Yeah.
He kept getting tripped up. It's like, you got to be a little bit quicker than that. And also, I didn't like the way he failed to answer the bell, and I really did not like the way he walked off the field.
I can't believe not more people are talking about it.
Stand there and take your medicine. Like that's part of it. Is we all hate to lose. If you're a competitor,
everyone
and
does.
You play sports, and you, especially when you get beat badly, that stinks. And it's like the clock can't go fast enough.
Yeah.
But you don't go get in your car and go home.
Yep.
I just think that's inexcusable. And people say, he's just a kid. No, you're not.
No.
Not when you're making $5 million a year.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you don't get that free pass anymore. You're out there not only representing your school and your family and your teammates, now you're representing Nike and all these other people.
Yep. Bad look.
Yeah. That was bad.
I'm with you.
That was bad.
Well,
I was so upset that night.
Yeah.
And then I got to take a nap during the Broncos game. So that helped.
Overall, great football in Colorado. CSU won, though. They beat UNC. So go Rams. Trey, our producer behind the scenes, is also saying, go Rams.
My Steelers won.
They did. Justin Fields. We'll see you week 2, Broncos. All right. James Merilatt, always a pleasure. Thank you so much to everybody hanging out with us in the comments. We appreciate everything you guys do for us as well. We'll be back tomorrow. James Palmer will be on with me here at Coffee Break, 12 p.m. We'll see you guys then. Bye.